Hello YouTube! Welcome back to my channel. My name's Tina and I make videos every single week on lifestyle and DIY, and today's video is all about hand lettering and calligraphy. And before you exit out of this video because you think you can't do it, I will reassure you that you can do it and you don't need fancy tools to do this. I'm going to show you how to letter with some of my favorite materials, but also basic materials like these Crayola markers. So if you have some of these fatter tips or the super tips, these are also really a great tool to learn how to do calligraphy. I know some of my other DIYs feature a lot of calligraphy, and some people have mentioned that they want to learn more or understand how to do calligraphy because they need more practice. Once you learn calligraphy, there are honestly so many projects that you can do with it, like your place cards, menus, envelopes, and the list goes on, and I'm sure I will have more projects on these. But for today's video, it's really going back to the basics and showing you guys some of the tips to help you out. Personally, I learned how to do calligraphy by watching a lot of videos on YouTube and Instagram and just practicing a lot. And don't worry guys, I know it's a little bit discouraging, especially when you're learning a new skill, but honestly, all it really takes is building up that muscle memory and just practicing a lot and getting used to one material. And that's why for today's video, I'm strictly focusing on markers because I feel like they are the most user-friendly and the easiest to use, especially for beginners. So really hope that this video encourages you guys to pick up a marker and get to hand lettering because it's so much fun and it is so rewarding. Okay, I'm gonna stop blabbing now and let's get into the video. Hello from VoiceOver Tina. So to start off this video, my first tip for beginners is to pick one medium and master it. And as a beginner, I learned by working with markers and brush pens. So for this tutorial, I will be using my favorite beginner-friendly pens and markers for lettering. Tombow Duo brush pens are one of the most popular brush markers, and it's also the one that I practiced the most with when I first started. These come in many different colors and are great for not only lettering, but also illustration, because it features a brush tip and a fine point tip, hence the name dual brush. The only downside of this pen is that they are a little pricier, and since the brush is so large, you will need to write larger, so please keep that in mind when you're working with these. Next are a very affordable option, and they are the Crayola broadline markers. You can get a 10-pack of these for literally less than $3 at Target. They are nice and smooth to work with, but since it is not a brush tip, you will need to work with them a little bit differently to get the right pressure for your strokes. Also, I really regret not having fresh nails for this video, so please do not come for me for my week-old chipped nails. I know, I can't stop looking at them either, but I really wanted to get this video out, so please forgive me. And as you can see, you can still achieve that beautiful calligraphy without having a brush pen tip. Another great option from Crayola are their super tips. A pack of these are only $4 for 20 markers, and there are so many colors to choose from. I love these because you can get a skinnier line, but also use the sides to get a nice thick downstroke. So if you don't want to invest in a set of more expensive markers, I would highly suggest either one of these Crayola packs. This last option is one that I've talked about before on my channel and that I highly recommend for those who want to get more serious on their lettering, and it is the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. I got these in a pack of 2 for less than $6 on Amazon, and it comes with a hard tip and a soft tip pen. The soft tip requires a bit more pressure and a steadier hand to use it, so I recommend the hard tip for beginners, and this just gives you more control and stability when you're writing with it, and that's why I love this pen so much for beginners. And lastly, just as important as the tools that you're using, please consider the paper that you're working with as well. I recommend using super smooth paper, rather that be printer paper or a notebook paper, but for this tutorial, I'm using a Rhodia dot pad. And this paper is really high quality, super smooth to work with, and it also serves as a great guide with the dots on it, but you can also use a grid notepad when you're starting off. I find that this is really easy and highly recommended for beginners. And not only will your markers glide better on smoother paper, but you will also save the tips of your markers from fraying, and that way you can save some money and not wreck as many markers. Now, before you do anything else in calligraphy, you need to learn the basics, and most people already know that you need to have a lighter pressure on upward strokes and heavier pressure on downward strokes, but more importantly than that, you need to build up your muscle memory to learn the basic strokes. These make up every letter you're writing and serves as a foundation to building up this new skill. So here are the basic strokes that I practiced a lot before I started writing letters. The key to doing a good upstroke is having an even amount of pressure starting from the bottom up. You want your upstroke to be light but not wobbly, so finding the right pressure might take you a few tries before you get the hang of it, but once you get going, you really will find your rhythm. Now, starting from the top down, you want to have heavy pressure for your downstrokes, and again, finding the right pressure here is really important so that the weight of the line is even throughout. For your overturn stroke, you want to start from the bottom of the line and combining your thin upstroke curving into a thick downstroke. And conversely, you have your underturn strokes, which start from the top with heavy pressure going into light pressure as you move upwards. Now we're getting fancy with a compound curve. This stroke really helps you in learning how your pen moves when you're curving it more than once. And now for this last stroke, ovals are one of the harder strokes because you're starting off on the side and then going from a light pressure to a heavy pressure, back to light pressure, and meeting in the middle of where you started. And these are important not only to write the letter O, but also it makes up other letters like A, D, and G. Okay, and now that you've learned the hardest part of calligraphy, which are the strokes, it is time to move into letters. As a beginner, you want to practice writing the same letter over and over again, and this really helps you find what feels most natural to you, and also figuring out what styles you like best. There are so many ways you can write one letter, so experiment here and find one that you love. Here you can see I'm writing the letter B in 3 different styles, and then on the second line I'm writing the same B in the first style, but then just adding an angle to it. And honestly, that's how I found what I liked best for my own calligraphy, so just have fun with it and experiment with different styles while you're learning your letters. Once you have established your letters and your styles, start connecting them all together. One fun exercise to do as a beginner is to write the entire alphabet with the letters all connected together, and when you're connecting them, remember to take it slow. So this really helps you connect letters together without having to think about different words that you have to write. One big tip that I have for beginners is to lift up your pen after every stroke. This helps you write slower, working on each individual stroke rather than the letter as a whole. When you're first starting out, it's really tempting to want to write everything out quickly and all at once, but you have to remember that every letter and every word that you're writing is made up of smaller lines and shapes. I once read that you should think of calligraphy like drawing rather than writing, and that helped me out so much when I was first learning, so please take your time in perfecting each letter and each word that you're writing. Now that you've mastered your strokes and your letters, it's time to move on to words. By practicing with different pens and markers, I would write words over and over and over again, and that's probably the best way that you're going to learn. I have old notebooks with pages filled with the word hello over and over again. Honestly, I think that writing words repeatedly really helped me build my calligraphy skills, but also it helped me build my confidence to make my own wedding signs, envelopes, and table numbers. So if you know that there's a specific project you want to work on, practice writing down the word or phrase over and over again, so when it's time for the real thing, your hand is used to it. Same thing goes with names for envelope lettering. If there's a last name you know that is super prevalent on your guest list, practice writing it down a couple times and get your hands used to it. And honestly, that's all there is to it. Master using one medium, then move on to your strokes, letters, and words, and in no time you will be a calligraphy pro. And remember, most importantly of all, to have fun while you're learning this new skill, and good luck. Alright guys, I hope that you learned a lot from this tutorial. I know that it is a lot to take in, but trust me when I say that it is a very slow process in perfecting this. And even though I've been doing calligraphy for a couple of years, I am nowhere near perfect. I have so much more to learn, but knowing some of these basics and revisiting them every now and again really does help me build up my skill. So I really hope that you guys have fun with this. I know that learning a new skill can be kind of frustrating, so I would encourage you to keep practicing and look back on how far you've come, because the first day that you start calligraphy is not going to be your best work ever. It only gets better with time. I also hope that this video makes calligraphy a lot more approachable for you guys and makes it less scary, and really encourages you guys to do some DIYs. I really hope that you guys do some of the DIYs I've shown before, because trust me, they are not that difficult. As soon as you get your calligraphy down, you'll be able to do it. No problem. With that being said, thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. I am at 3,500 subs right now, and I'm honestly over the moon whenever I read a nice comment from you guys, so please leave some love in the comment section down below. Let me know if you have any questions as well, and I'd be happy to help you guys. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and learned something new, and if you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, please follow me on Instagram. I'm posting there every single day. Here is my handle. Feel free to DM me or leave me any messages or questions. I'm always happy to help you guys. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm making new videos every single week on DIY projects, and I can't wait to share even more projects with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!